My father once told me a story of when he was a child. So back then in I don't know what year it was the 19, maybe like the 1950s or 1960s or something. My father said he was still a very little child at that period and there was war in Nigeria, yeah. And then they lived in the village and everything and he said they literally had to go and hide inside caves so that the people that were, waging the war and everything, when they came to the village, they didn't see anybody, so they just like passed by. That got me thinking. They literally had to go and hide inside caves. Cave, like that giant rock thing that we usually see in movies that, cavemen. They literally had to go and hide inside there so that these people that came to kill them wouldn't fight them to kill. And these days, everybody is wondering why men are weaker than ever. You see it everywhere on YouTube, the war masculinity, this, that, blah, blah, blah. The reason why men are weaker than ever is not necessarily because of porn or junk food or video games or whatever. The reason why men are weaker than ever is simply because the world is better. Like the world is a better place. Just like that story I said, my father had to literally go and hide inside the cave to survive. I don't need to do that. So of course I'm automatically going to be weaker than my father. Because think about it, I live here in Nigeria, so maybe if you live in a first world country or a different place, your experience with all this might be different and everything. But I live in Nigeria here, so the olden days was kind of rough here in Nigeria. Like back then, education wasn't even available to everyone. Nowadays, school is like scam and everything. Everybody's like school is scam, school is scam. This days school is not even really that relevant because of the internet and abundance of information these days. School is a waste of time. It's only if you are studying like a proper degree, something like medicine, law, or engineering, something like major like that. Any other thing that is not as intense or as solid as all those degrees, it's pretty much like a waste of money in this modern day. But back then, it was like luxury. If you didn't go to school, if you didn't have a certificate, if you didn't have a degree, you were going to be like useless. Like your life is going to fall apart. And it's crazy, like even the most shittiest degree you could study in school back then, it will still make you like a lot more intelligent than the average person. So of course men are going to be like weaker than ever when like if you didn't go to school back then you were fucked. But now you can decide to not go to school and like life is still going to be good. And back then too, information was very scarce. Like nowadays if you want to access anything, just pull out your phone, go to Google. Now there's no chat GPT. Just ask it whatever you want to ask it. Why is this thing like this? Why is this thing like this? Why is this happening like this? And you get answers like pretty much instantly within a few seconds. Then there was no answers. There was no way you could know. The only way that you could manage to know if you were looking for answers or you wanted to learn something was you go to the library and you go and read books. These days, if there are many people that say they don't like reading. If you don't like reading, you can just listen to an audio book or listen to a podcast or even find like a summary app, all those short form, Blinkist, all those type of apps. Yeah, so they will just summarize the whole book for you. Then there was nothing like that. Nothing like that. You had to go to the library and go and read, or maybe the highest was like newspapers or something like that. Like you literally had to go and source for this information. And many times, the books that maybe the book you're looking for might not even be in your region. It might not be in your like city. It might not be in your country. It might not even be in your like state. So you have to, if you are looking for a particular book, you might literally have to like travel to another country or travel to another state just to get this piece of information, and we have it in abundance. So like of course men are going to be weaker than like before. Like if I literally have to travel to another place to just learn something, a piece of information, maybe like a book, like of course I'm going to be a lot stronger than I am right now. My parents usually tell me how they went through school back in the day. They were like, I remember my mother, she said when she was about to enter university, like both parents were, broke as fuck as usual. So they didn't like she didn't have like she couldn't go to school. Like she literally couldn't go to school. So the way she was able to like enter university, I think she said she like worked in a poultry or so. So the fowl shits, like when the fowl they poop, they pack, like they will pack it and everything, and they will like load it in a bag and try it or so. So that was literally how she went to school. Like I think the owner gave her permission to do whatever she wants to do with the sheets or whatever. So she literally dried that sheets and sold it, sold it to like farmers for manure and stuff like that. And that was how she was able to raise money to enter into school. Imagine, I don't it's like you're not understanding what I'm saying. That is crazy. That to get into university, she had to literally sell foul sheets to raise money to enter school. Now, like nowadays, everybody that wants to go, you can even go and do student loans or something. Just enter for free. Like no big deal. They literally had to go and do stressful things like that. My father used to say like, then he didn't have money at all, so like he hustled and everything. And when he was in school, like during the holidays now, you can just be at home, just chill, do whatever. You literally have to go and work in a farm, like go and be digging ridges and like harvesting crops and doing rigorous stressful work just to see like money to eat and stuff like that. We don't have to do any of that thing. So of course you're going to be weaker than your father. Of course you're going to be weaker in the modern day compared to the olden days. Like it's just going to happen. And again, back in the olden day, I don't know, at least here in Nigeria, they were just usually abnormally many. Like your parents, you like your siblings. Like my mother, for example, she said they gave birth to 9 of them. There were 9 in the family, plus parents, 2 parents, that was 11, plus like cousins and uncles and aunts and siblings. Like they say in one house there were like 16 people living there, and it wouldn't be a good thing if 16 people are held as well. The parents as usual are broke as fuck, so they cannot even afford to like feed themselves, talk less of their children. So imagine how crazy that's going to be. Like, of course you are going to be like, if they were not strong, if they didn't like toughen up, they were literally going to die, like, because they share food or something like that. And if you don't struggle to go and get your own, like, you're not going to eat. And if you don't eat for many days in a row, many weeks in a row, many months in a row, many years in a row, of course you eventually fall sick and die. So like their survival literally depended on it. So of course we of nowadays, like, you don't have to do any of that. You eat whatever you need, food, you just go and order, just go and buy, like, just cook, everything is good. Like, you don't have to do any of that. So of course you're going to be weaker than before. And back then the only way to even become successful was to go to school. Starting a business wasn't really possible. Like right now I'm recording this video on my phone. When I made a video on this very channel, like at the beginning days of the channel. You can go back and check it. I'll link it in the description if you're interested. And I was just basically talking about how we don't know how lucky we are in this generation. And I still stand, even though I made that video like 2 years ago, I still stand to that point to this very day. I'm literally recording this video on my phone, and of course I'm not making money or anything from it, but if I continue doing the steps and continue doing if I continue doing this consistently, I could literally start making money from all these things I'm doing, and just from my phone, from my room, from my phone, from my house. Like, I don't have to leave here, I don't have to do any fancy thing. I just have to record videos on my phone. I do it for a long enough period of time, and I would literally start making money. Back then there was nothing like that. This is just one way to make money online. There's copywriting, SMMA, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, all the million other ways they have to make money. Back then there was nothing like that. I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. There was literally nothing like that. The only way to become successful was to go to school. And yes, you could start a business, but starting a business back then was not like the way it is now, that I can just pull out my phone and like within a few weeks or a few months of doing this, I'll start making money. Like, it was not possible then to start a business. Like, first of all, you had to open like a shop or something, or get an office or open a shop, and you needed a lot of capital, a lot of money. And if you did not have like money, if you're not a rich person, or you did not have access to like rich people or something, there was no way you could get, like, it was just a lot of headache and a lot of stress. And if you did not go to school and you were not able to start a business or something, the only way you were going to survive is to work manual labor. Like, you go and work in like the coal mines or something like that. You go and do like bricklaying, like just terrible jobs, like stressful stuff. So of course your parents are going to be like, the men of this generation are going to be weak. And back then we didn't even have technology. Like right now, back then, my parents used to tell me that back then the only people that had TV, television, it was only rich people. And as me, it's only like the flat screen, smart TVs, and everything that is in your house. That would have been good. It was all those boxy, big, all those like TV that would look like square. All those olden days ones, all black and white, black and white. It didn't even have color. I think it's all those like first generation computer or still that you're using, whether what do you even used to call it, whether cathode ray tube was like That was what existed back then. Guess what? It was only rich people that had access to the technology. That was the technology. God, like, and imagine to even send message to somebody right now. If you want to send, you want to text your friend, you pull out your phone, write the text you want to send on WhatsApp or text message or whatever, and within a few seconds your friend receives it into he writes his own back, send it, both of you communicate back and forth. You can even do voice notes, tap your voice note stuff, talk whatever you want to talk, send it, and your friend receives it. You have to write letters. You literally carry your pen, you book, you write your letter, dear blah 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 blah. You write the letter, you go to the post office, you go and like mail it and send it to your friend. And assuming your friend will receive it instantly, that would be good. Your friend will receive it like 2 months later, 3 months later. Imagine sending the text and it takes 3 months before it will reach your friend. And many times the mail could even get lost on the way, like maybe as the traveling and the shipping and everything is going on, it could get lost on the route, so your friend could never even receive it. And now, like, I want to travel back then. Maybe this one is like a little a little way back, but back then they used to say like if they wanted to go to Lagos, for example, they would literally just walk to Lagos. Like, right now you just enter your car or go and like load a bus or something and travel. Then within 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours you have reached your destination. Then they will literally walk, like trek. Guy, they will sleep on the road. They will carry their luggage, they will find somewhere to camp and everything, sleep on the road. They wake up the next morning, continue their journey. They say it usually takes them something like 2 or 3 weeks to get to their destination. Imagine how fucked up that is. So of course, like, why, like, let's keep going. And they lived in mud houses. I'm living in my room now. You see this fan is stunning. I don't have AC here, but we have fan. There's like technology. I'm in my room. If rain is falling, I can just close my windows. Like, everything is good. There's lights. Everything is fine. They lived in mud houses, no electricity, no nothing. Mud houses. Like, to get lights, they literally have to use like candles, stuff like that. Like, imagine that type of life. Like, of course they are going to be stronger than you. Of course, like, you are going to be weaker in this generation. Like, why not? And they have to be vigilant again because, like I said, my father, he wants to like literally hide inside a cave because there was war going on. So if like stuff like that, if you're not very vigilant or smart, like if you're not strong, of course, like when war breaks out like that, you're going to die because your survival literally depends on it. Like, if you don't do something about it, you are going to die. So like, of course, they have to like adapt and become strong. But now we have all these technologies. And we have all this stuff that makes life easier for us. You have your phone, you have your TV, like you have this phone. Like you don't have to do any of those stuff. You don't have to go and sell file sheets before you enter school. You want to send a message to your friend, it doesn't have to take you 3 months before it gets to him. So of course you're going to be weaker. Like, it's just it sounds like common sense. Literally, I'm 19 years old right now. My birthday is literally 17. Like, today as I'm recording this video is the 3rd of September. My birthday is 17th of September, so I'm literally turning 20 in like maybe 2 weeks or something, which is kind of crazy. But I just think back to like my older, the older generation, like my father, my older uncles, my grandparents and everything. My grandmother, she's dead now, unfortunately. But my grandmother, I think they say she got married when she was 18 years old. Imagine how fucked up that is. She literally got married when she was 18 years old. Like I said, I'm about turning 20. And I'm like, I can barely even take care of myself. Imagine not getting married and like giving birth to children and everything at just the age of 18. So it's just crazy. But even with all these things, many people are usually angry that men of this generation are weak and everything, and it's because of technology. And yeah, it's actually because of technology, because of the way the world has evolved. But I think we should still be grateful. Like, we should actually be happy. Just like I said in that video I recorded back then. We don't know how lucky we are. We should be grateful for the opportunity. We should take advantage of it. Like, I literally can't imagine living a life without the internet or my phone or electricity. Like, of course, we're trying to do dopamine detox and everything. But bro, we're living a life without any of these technologies at all. Like, it's going to suck. It's going to suck badly. So I think we should be grateful. But naturally, it's like each generation is going to be weaker and weaker than before because like as the world gets better and better, each generation is going to keep getting weaker and weaker. And, I'm talking about my parents and my grandparents and everything. How they were like how the world was crazy for them and everything. But even my parents and grandparents, if you compare their own lives to like back in the Middle Ages or so, when back in all those like times when Jesus existed, when cities like Babylon and all those Jericho, all those really olden days, the Middle Ages. My parents compared to those guys, my parents are going to be weaker than them. Like it's just how it is. And we compared to my parents, we are going to be weaker than my parents. The next generation that is going to come after we, like the younger generation, they are going to be weaker than us. So it's like it's just going to happen. But I don't think we should tear down technology because like even though like yes, most of the weakness and addiction and everything of these modern days from technology, like I think like look at your screen time, almost everybody these days spends like 5 hours 6 hours on their phone. So like yeah, technology is responsible for bad habits and everything, but I still feel like we should be grateful for it because it makes the world move forward. But even with that said, even though we should embrace technology, it doesn't mean we should be weak. This is not an excuse that you should remain a weak person. Even though like for majority of us, like even though I live here in Nigeria, a third world country, like the place I live here in Nigeria is not like some place that there's poverty everywhere and we're starving. Like I said, I have access to the internet. Like I'm using my phone to record this video. There's fun, there's electricity, like life is good, life is okay. It might not be as sweet as a first world country, but life is okay. There are people that are literally living in like war places like maybe Iraq or Afghanistan or something that is just like war every single day. Like those guys, like those people, their life is still crazy. But for most of us that live in normal lives, if you have a phone and you're using it to watch this video, you probably live a normal life. You're not running and trying to like hide for your survival or something. Like you live okay. I still feel like we should still become strong because occasionally in your life there's going to be a situation that is going to require you to be a strong person. Like your day-to-day life, you might not need to necessarily be strong and be dependent on your survival, but like occasions are going to arise, hard times are going to come up, and something as fictional as like a zombie invasion or something, to something as small as being attacked by a snake or an aggressive wild dog. Maybe some dog just got loose and is chasing you. Stuff like that are going to happen in your like every once in a while. Maybe not the zombie invasion, but stuff like that is going to happen every once in a while. So you have to be strong because if you're a weak man, you're going to get destroyed. If you're a weak man, you see some snake and you're not able to kill it, the snake is going to bite you and you're going to die. You're a weak man, some dog comes out chasing you, you're not going to be able to run, you're not going to be able to fight to defend yourself. The dog is going to attack you and you're going to die, or at least you're going to injure terribly. So you have to be strong because stuff like this, or somebody could even break into your house, somebody could attack you, maybe you and your friend or you and your girl, you are walking and somebody could literally attack both of you. If you're a weak man, you can't do anything. Like both of you are going to get jumped or you're going to get hurt. So you have to be strong to be able to do this stuff. The last quote I'll leave you with is: hard times create strong men, strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. So many people wonder why men are today are weaker than ever before. The simple reason why men are weaker than ever before is because the world is easier than it has ever been before. Like this is literally in the history of the world, this is literally the easiest it has ever been, and in the future it's going to even be a lot easier than it is right now, and therefore the men of that time are going to be a lot weaker than we are right now. But this doesn't mean because the world gets better and better we should become weaker and weaker. Put yourself in uncompulsory hard times. So like I said, your modern day-to-day life is fine. Like here you don't need to stress about anything, but put yourself in compulsory stress. Like challenge yourself, go and do something stressful like working out. Go and like sign up for like boxing or something stressful, something that's going to challenge you. Put yourself in all those type of stressful situations. A very good example of this is David Goggins. You watch all these David Goggins videos and all these clips of him running and everything. He has said many times, he's not training for a race. He's not doing all these push-ups and all these pull-ups and all these exercises he does because he's training for like a race or he wants to fight us. Like he's training for life. He has said it because when you do all those type of stuff, You make yourself a strong man. You make yourself hard. You're not weak. So you have to find your own variation of that. Maybe it might be running miles like David Goggins, or getting into fighting or something. But you have to do something that challenges you. So yes, men of nowadays are weaker than ever before, but you don't have to be one of them. You could literally take advantage of technology on the modern day, like everything is good and everything. Take advantage of that, use it to your advantage, use it to make money, use it to build a business, use it to create impact. But also be a very strong motherfucker, like be a strong man. So thank you for watching this video. Stay strong.